Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, which is the new Friday, because all the new movies come out on Thursday instead of Friday, and so many great things are happening, and the traffic just builds and builds like it's really Friday. Nobody's told them it's Thursday. Back off, slow down. But it is Thursday, and it's so I guess it's Friday's Eve. We'll just say it like that. Those are people that can't wait for the weekend to get here. We'll call it Friday's Eve. Listen, if you didn't listen to the show yesterday, it'll be online today. It'll be on YouTube and SoundCloud and just wherever. I mean, if you turn something on, it'll probably be there because Richard has got this set up where we are being heard everywhere, and then we're going to be seen on Suddenlink soon. But radio, it's 104.5 and 106.1, and boy, do we sound good on the radio, because I was off during that Thanksgiving holidays, and I got to hear the shows, and it was so exciting. And as you would come in from New Waverly, and then you get into you start into the Conroe area, then you switch over to 106.5, you just have this clear, wonderful signal. And, of course, we're always on the Internet, always. You can cuddle up with your favorite computer and listen to us from 10 a.m. To 11 every morning. And then if you like country western music, this is the place to be. I'm actually starting to like some country western music, and I'm looking forward to some of these songs. And
you can't control it. It's awful. And you just let it happen. Just let it happen. That's the only thing I can recommend to people.
I know. I'm just trying to immerse myself with it. But the song I heard today was especially inspiring, and she even likes my tractor. And so I thought, okay, that's pretty good.
Well, she thinks it's sexy.
And she thinks it's sexy. That's it. I'm sorry. She thinks my tractor's sexy. And so the rest of the song is going uphill from that one. And so then the
That's
one...
That's a classic.
It's a classic, is it?
Yeah, from the 90s.
Well, it's a brand new one to me. So that's...
Or it might be early 2000s.
Well, it's brand new, but it's wonderful. And the one that I want to play... I'm trying to get Richard to get us off his playlist and so that I can play just a little bit of it. It's the one that says he ain't going to hit her again, or he's not going to hit her again because he can't get up because she shot him. It's a wonderful storyline. It's really great. It's talking about he hit her that evening, he hit her that morning, but he ain't going to hit her again because she done whacked him. He's gone. He's over with.
Oh, you know what I wanted to tell you?
What?
That reminds me. You ever seen the movie Bernie?
You mean Bernie, the one dead guy they drag around?
No, that's Weekends at Bernie's.
Okay,
but I'm talking about the one about the Reverend in Carthage, Texas, who kills his, I don't know what to call it, his girlfriend, but it was an older lady, and she was more, I don't know. Do you know what I'm talking about, Deanie? Do you have any idea?
No, I was thinking about the Bernie weekend.
Yeah. Okay. This is a song, or is it a movie?
No, it's a movie, but he killed her because of the way she treated him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And she was older. She was a lot older than him, and that was kind of and no one knew he was capable of doing that because he was the pastor, and he's really involved with the community and stuff.
Well,
but I guess you've never seen it, so it's called Bernie.
I've never heard of it.
I was going to say, I can't believe hadn't been a song written about it. But
well, Jack Black plays Bernie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, it's
okay.
And it was made by Richard Linklater.
My daughter told me about that because we love Jack Black, and she said, "There's a movie I didn't even know he was in, and you gotta." That's it.
Well,
okay, I'll look it up.
It's a very interesting movie because it's about East Texas. I was in Carthage for over Thanksgiving. We stopped in it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And I mentioned it to Holly, and I was like, "Hey," and she goes, "We can stop at the restaurants they ate." And we did. We stopped at the Mexican restaurant that set him out. That set off his switch because she was smacking her food, giving him a hard time.
I can understand that. I can understand.
I can't believe you never. Oh, it's a real story. It's based off a true story where this guy was involved in the community. One of the most respected people. He helped people. He volunteered. He worked at the funeral home and all that kind of stuff. And when he met her, she was Shirley MacLaine plays the woman. Plays the older woman. She's a lot older, and she's a widow, and she's an oil widow. And he just starts hanging out with her, helping her with stuff. And she had the personality of, too tough to mess with, and everyone kind of hated her because she was so mean. But for some reason, she liked Bernie.
And he treated her badly.
No, treated her perfectly. Like he was, people called him an angel because how good he treated her. Mm-hmm. But no one knew if it was like a sexual relationship or not. It was just one of those. He's always hanging around, driving her around, helping her with everything. And even her family was like, "What's he doing here?" But finally, she was so mean to him, he just killed her. See? And he stored her in an ice box.
You should have heard last week's.
We could have been a good whodunit.
That
would have been a great whodunit.
It was close to the whodunit that Bob Berry brought to us last Monday, and so you're gonna have to listen to that archive. Usually, Deanie is in on the whodunit part of this, and I'm talking to Deanie Harmon right now. I haven't introduced you or said hello to you. Good morning, Deanie.
Good morning,
and
Cindy.
good morning to your daughter Amber.
Good morning.
Good morning. And so we're going to be talking to them in just a minute, but she is here with us on Mondays normally, and Bob brought one. He said, "You'll never ever get this," and I love it when he says that because I'm like, "Bring it!" And it was like one of the first crime scenes he was on when he started as a police officer, and that's what they do. Deanie and Bob, with their vast years of experience, bring to us this past crime scene, and then we have to figure it out. And this ended up being a younger man who was coming over and visiting with this older woman there in the neighborhood, and everybody thought it was on the up and up and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But then they come in, they find this woman dead on the floor, and her head has like been bashed in the front, and everything's locked. Nobody knows anything, and so all that. And so his big clue, he told me, is that when they went outside, there was a crowd together, and that was my clue. And I went, what? Because I ask everything that you're supposed to ask, but then found out that he had done it, and then he locked the door behind him and went home, and they found him there, and he said she made him mad. And she done it. So you older women got to think about that.
Well, this guy didn't do anything. He just locked her up in the meat bin or in the meat freezer, and no one knew where she was for like 6 months.
That's how he killed her?
He killed her he actually killed her with a .22 because she kept a .22 in the garage to shoot critters on her land.
Right.
And he shot her in the back.
She should have started with him. You have to be careful.
No, it was the other way around, Cindy. You're going to watch this movie and be surprised.
No. Okay. Well, that's what my daughter said. You guys
because even the town said free him because he's not a bad guy. Even the town was behind. They had to move. Had to move the court or the trial to another place because of the overall support.
They liked him
because he was so sweet to everybody, and everyone hated her.
That's right. That's right. She said he did all these sweet things for everybody. So I will go home. I'll have to go home and watch that because it's on Netflix.
I have to look that one up.
Yeah, I'll go find that and watch it.
It's pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, it's funny
You too, Amber.
too, if you want to get into they really focus on the East Texas. Like they have like it's really funny the people in East Texas, and they kind of talk about how they're different from everybody else, and
they kind of are.
And it was.
But,
Holly goes, "Hey, watch this, so you'll get an idea about my family." And it was.
Oh, really?
And it was besides the murder part.
Yeah.
But it was spot on. It really was. It was funny.
It's funny how the East Texas, West Texas have different accents, in the sense that one talks faster than the other. I talk like this, and I'll tell you one thing that's happened to me. This is going to be funny to you, but not funny to me. And then the others talk, well, that's real nice. I like you do that, but that's not the way I do it. And so it's funny when people find out that we do have, you have different variations around it.
Exactly.
We're so big,
Mm-hmm.
And when I found out that the people from Louisiana, they have more of that. New Orleans has a New York feel to it when you listen to it. But then when you have the plantation people who would, have the real Southern accent and all that, it's just, it's really interesting.
Well,
I love
that people that are deaf and that sign,
right,
depending on what region they are, they sign all different.
Well,
so it's
I
like
met
our southern drawl
exactly
versus New York.
Well, when I met some people from New York at a convention, I was interpreting, and so I went up to greet them and say, thank you for being here, and I gave my little thing, and they go like, it is so, and they signed back to me, it is so boring to have to watch a Southerner sign because you were so slow. And I went, thank you very much. And I just didn't know what to say. They're very frank and honest about what they feel about you. But they say you sign with a draw. And I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Really, we do.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I wanted to remind everybody, because I've totally gotten off my subject matter. I appreciate what we've talked about, but I wanted to tell everybody that it's the first Thursday of the month. And that means the farmers market is open over in the town square. What's that park called? That park right there? The name of the park. Not Heritage, but
Founders Plaza?
Founders Plaza. It's a fancy name for that park. And so they're going to have all the vendors out for the farmers market. They're going to have music, and they're going to have, who came in yesterday, our
friend Michael Player, I think he's going to play there again.
Yeah.
He is?
Yeah.
Really? Michael Player is?
Yes.
Oh, our good friend Michael Player.
They also changed their times to 3 to 7, so you can go at 3 p.m. instead of 4 p.m.
You can't go at 3 and get there a little early. It's not be
Time
as
change,
cold,
kind of.
too. It'll be better, and it gets so dark so quick.
Well, no, really what you should do is go to Conroe Coffee and get something to warm you up while walking around looking at stuff.
Yeah.
That's right.
You should. That is, you'll never leave it, though, because it's so cute. Conroe Coffee is so cute. It's got so many clothes and vintage-looking things, and then also the great food and coffee. Oh, yeah. And hot cocoa for a day like today. It would be great.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, they're going to be there. But yesterday, Deanie, I had 2 firemen come in here. And they came in here because they're on the fireman's calendar for animal rescue.
Oh,
Yeah, and they're holding their pets. They have no shirt on, and they're wearing their I thought there's dogs on here. Oh, okay, yes, there's dogs on there. But they came in and gave me a calendar. It's autographed, and I can't believe I can't
Lucky
wait
you.
to spend all that time in different months. There's 12 of them. They were really cute, so sweet, so kind, and they said they were chosen for their personality, and I had to correct them. I don't think that's why you were chosen to be on the calendar, but that's okay. You're so sweet and kind, and they want these animals rescued. And one of the firemen that was here did rescue one of those dogs, and that dog became his dog, and we talked about that. So it was really sweet. And they're going to be there signing their the calendars for fundraising for the Animal Society.
That's awesome.
cool.
And so if you guys want to go
Great
back there,
cause.
do a great cause.
yeah.
And it's just great eye candy. Anyway, so I just want to let everybody know that that's happening in the plaza. Tomorrow we're going to talk about how many things are going on here in this Conroe downtown area this weekend. So you guys, get ready, get your pencils out tomorrow, and we'll write that down. But next is Deanie Harmon and her daughter Amber, and they have got a story to tell. Do not miss this. Cindy Cochran Show, Real Reality Radio.
The Cindy Cochran Show, the first daily talk show serving Montgomery County.
Want to check out the fastest growing sport in the world? It's right here in Conroe, Texas, and it's roller derby. Conroe Roller Derby is a non-profit recreational league of women and men who want you to come and check out the fast-paced, hard-hitting game of roller derby. The Conroe Cutthroats practice at Rainbow Roller Rink on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. You can find our game schedule and more information on our website, www.conroerollerderby.com.
Hello, I'm Bonita DeRosa, Animal Control Officer for the City of Willis. We invite you to tune in to Lone Star Internet Radio every first and third Thursday of the month at 11 a.m. for the Willis Hour. On the first Thursday of the month, the Willis Hour will be covering upcoming events and news about the city. Join in the conversation with your city officials and other leaders in the community. On the third, we will be doing a recap of the last City Council meeting. The mission of the City of Willis is to provide high-quality services, accountability, and professional commitment to our citizens. We pledge to provide those who live, work, and visit our city an effective government that is open and responsive to the needs and values of the community. Again, we invite you to tune in on Lone Star Internet Radio every first and third Thursday of the month at 11 for the Willis Hour.
You're going to need me. You're going to need us.
All of us.
You're going to need our help with your water, your air, your food.
You're going to need our determination, our compassion.
You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring.
And we promise we'll be there when you need us.
Today, 4-H is growing the next generation of leaders.
And we're back on the Cindy Cochran Show. I love that public service announcement. That little girl sounds, you know what? But she could be put, if you listen to it in a different way, it's kind of creepy, that she could be on some kind of ad for a movie that's like a creepy movie. Anyway, I'm sorry, that's how it hit me. But it's a cool PSA. Hey, we have with us Deanie Harmon. And you guys that listen on Monday, that you only come in on Monday to listen because you want to hear Deanie Harmon and Bob Berry do the Whodunit series. Deanie, of course, we've told everyone she's a former 17 years veteran of the narcotics agency in HPD, where she worked undercover and has a lot of experience like that. Someone who you could hang out with for a long time and listen to the stories that she has.
Lots of stories.
Lots of stories. I love that when you say, I got lots of stories, Cindy.
Lots of stories.
And so little time. But she's here with us every Monday. You'll be here next Monday, right? Okay. All right. So we got Deanie and Bob next Monday. But she told me that her daughter, Amber, was blind. And that I was like, really? And I'm so interested in how the family dynamics deal with that. It's good for, I mean, I have worked with, the blind, the hearing impaired, the deaf, and I don't know, do you see it as a politically correct thing to say visually impaired, or do you say blind? How do you speak about it in your family?
I say I'm blind.
Okay, that's Amber. And if Amber says that, then that's all we need. That's it. Doesn't matter what the government tells you, you should say. But
the government has their own wording. Amber has her own.
Right. Well, the
vision impaired, blind, legally blind.
Well, the deaf would be so amused at the different titles they have. They said, Cindy, they call us hearing impaired. That's like we had hearing and it got broken or something. I've never heard anything in my life. Why do they call me hearing impaired? And it's just so funny that they want to change the names on us. They did like the fact that they quit calling them the deaf and the dumb. They would and they didn't understand that was an old word that had a different meaning when it came into the more modern idea of things. And so they said, well, just call us deaf. We can't hear anything, whatever you want to say, but don't say dumb. We're not dumb. I said, no, you're not dumb.
By no means.
That's exactly right. So, Deanie, if you wouldn't mind, like starting out with her birth, what was it's not 29 years, but I'm saying starting with her birth, when did you guys know that she was blind?
Well, at 4 months of age, and excuse my voice, I've got this stuff going on.
Me too.
Oh. She was in Montessori school, and the teacher came to us and said, at 4 months of age, or at 3 months of age, your daughter's supposed to be focusing on large objects and bright colors, and she wasn't. And so we ended up taking her to one of the best pediatric ophthalmologists in Houston there was, and that was Dr. Hittner at the time, Dr. Helen Hittner. And Dr. Hittner just took her, looked at her, examined her, and said, I'm sorry to tell you, but your daughter is blind. She's not totally blind at this point, but at that time she had some pinhole eyesight.
Mm-hmm.
So at 4 months of age, we put her in these little Coca-Cola bottles, glasses.
I hate
the lens were so big and so thick. And here you've got this 4-month-old baby that's got these little Coca-Cola bottle lenses on, and we'd go to the restaurant and people would come over to the table and go, well, how did you know? How did you know? So anyway, when she got older, the Dr. Hittner told us that the eyesight would eventually go, and about when she was about 9 years of age. But when she was a baby, we carrying her in the car. She was she loved to look at the sun, and so we had to put shades down in the car so that she wouldn't look at the sun, because if you stare at the sun for so long,
Right.
it's going to hurt your eyes.
Right.
But in the moon, if the moon was out, we would tell her, find the moon, and she would find it. She'd point her finger at it, and she'd holler, "Moon, mommy, moon!" So it was really cool then. But as she got older, then we started noticing that the eyesight. She never really ever saw what I looked like or her family, because it wasn't even that good. It was kind of blurry.
Right.
And she saw in grays. She didn't see in colors.
In grays, okay.
Yeah, and I used to argue with the doctor. I said, no, she can see colors, because I'd pick up a certain color and she'd tell me the color of it. And the doctor said, no, blind people can actually tell the color by the shade of the color. And they can make a pretty educated guess as to what color it is.
Word.
So if it was red, anytime she looked at something red, she could pretty much guess that, oh, that's red.
Yeah.
So it's pretty fascinating.
What was that like? You looked at different colors, and when you'd say this is red, and they go like, that's right. That's amazing.
I just thought it was okay, like I'm guessing this is the right color. But to me, I could see red. I think red was probably my most favorite color that I could identify.
Mm-hmm. Now, is that like, it's interesting to us, like when you think about red, is this something that then you remember, like you're seeing it in your head, if this was the color that I remember as being red? And when you dream, do you dream about things that happened that day, or there are objects that you see that that you feel like you recognize this person? And how do you dream like that?
Yeah, I do. I dream in colors. I can see I can see the colors. So yeah, I would say my dreams are pretty detailed.
They are. That's great. That is great. We had Carly Crimmin on here, and Carly has been a student in Austin School for the Blind for a long time. She would come in and she'd let us ask stupid questions and try not to laugh at us. And she asked, we were answering questions. She was answering questions we were asking, and then she said, "What do you dream about when you dream, as a sighted person?" And I went, "Well, just stuff I've seen the day, and I'm having some difficulty with something maybe, and that'll come to the dream." And she says, "Well, I was just wondering what y'all dreamed about." She'd never asked someone that was like somebody that was sighted what they dream about. But it's an interesting question to have to answer. I had my friend who was deaf had a child about the same age as my child, and they were playing and we're signing, and she said, "Could you just tell me how she sounds?" And I said, "Susan?" She said, "Yeah, just tell me how she sounds." And I went, well, to describe someone's voice. And I said, well, her voice is very light. It's very, very excited, and it's bright, and it's, I'm trying to think of things I could associate with that. And just the sweetest voice you'll ever, would ever hear. And she said, that's exactly what I thought it was. And that was she just wanted somebody to give her some words to put with that and describe. And she felt so good about that. Yeah. And it was great. But she said, I would never, ever want to be blind. I'm so glad that I can hear. I mean, that I can see, and I don't care about, about the hearing.
I've asked Amber before. I said, Amber, if you could see, would you want to? And she's always told me no. No. Which is pretty cool. But she says, I'll see when I get in heaven. So I'm not worried about it right now.
That is so amazing, because I asked the same question to this girl. And I said, if you could, have an operation, because they're starting to feel like they can bring hearing back. And she goes, no, not for me. I don't want to hear, because the first voice I want to hear is that of Jesus. Aww. And I said, that's helped so many people. When I tell them that story, they go like, oh, I never.
See, that's the difference for me. I I would love to have my hearing back because I love music.
Mm-hmm.
And, if I lost the rest of my hearing, the music, I don't know if I would be able to hear it. And because I love music, listening to music so much.
Yeah, she started losing her hearing when she around 9.
Yeah.
Around 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so now she wears hearing
I
aids,
wear hearing aids
in both ears.
Mm-hmm.
We took a sign language class one time because I was afraid, she cannot see. So if she loses her hearing, we need to learn how to sign. Well, I knew how to do the alphabet, but the class was so fast we couldn't keep up with it. So I said, well, I'll teach you our own signs at home.
Right. You have your home signs.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of the deaf people that grew up in a home where the parents are hearing, they just did their own home signs. So when they had to go out and learn the actual, it was like, yikes. But
when she was growing up, she learned Braille in school.
Yes.
And actually, she started in the school system at 8 months of age. She had a visually impaired, a VI instructor that came in and taught her, just mobility, movements. And then throughout the years, she was always her instructor at certain points, her VI teacher. But Amber, everything, she learned Braille.
I learned Braille at the age of 3.
At 3, you were learning Braille?
Some people don't even know what Braille is now. It is the little bumps we call them bumps. If you're like at the elevator and you see all these little bumps, that's Braille. There was someone the other day said, well, what's Braille? I go, that's what Braille is, because there's so much technology out there.
Right.
Out now in the world that kids these days do not know what Braille is.
That is amazing.
I have to tell you a funny story about about the Braille. The old Braille machines, and they're like old typewriters. And she had homework from school, so the first thing she gets home from school, she's supposed to do her homework. So she's in there, she's just a brailing. 5 minutes later, she says, Mom, I'm through with my homework. I said, okay. So this went on about 2 weeks. I finally get a phone call from her teacher and says, well, Miss Harmon, your daughter, she's not doing her homework. And I said, really? I said, she comes home every day. That's the first thing she does. She shows me her homework. I can't read Braille, but, she said, well, that's the issue because she's not doing her homework. She's just in there planking at the brailer telling you that she's done her homework.
Ooh, Amber.
So, guess who had to go learn Braille?
Mom.
Yep. Mom did.
Amber, that is the coolest story. I love that.
She's not any different than any other kid.
No.
Totally not.
No, she is not. No, because I think that if you can get away with that, that's pretty good. And who taught you that, Amber? I'm sure you didn't think that yourself. Somebody came and said, "Hey, you want to be able to get through your homework really quick? Do this." Did anybody suggest that? Or you just
I just did it on my own, actually.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. I'm sure you taught a lot of your friends that same thing, right?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. It's those things that you can laugh about now, right?
Oh, absolutely.
That's well. She was a good student, right? You're a good student, Amber.
Yes.
Okay, and you're smart. You got it.
Yes.
It was so easy. You just flew through all those classes, right?
Oh yeah.
See, I knew it. I knew.
Yeah, one of the things about what we did when she was in the 6th grade, she came to me and she said, "Mom," she said, no one really talks to me at school. It's like they're afraid of me." So I told her, I said, let's do this. I went to her science teacher and talked to her science teacher. Amber and I used to give classes to the Lions Club on just basic, how does a blind person pour water? How does a blind person get around a room? Just simple things. How do they eat? How do they dress? Yeah. So what we did was the science teacher gave us 2 days of class, a free open class, and each class that came in, we talked to them about being blind and what it's like and, the life of a blind person throughout the day. So I gave them all homework, and I said, okay, go home tonight and with your family, not just by yourself, get your family involved, and y'all do one activity blind, totally blind.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So whether it's brushing your teeth all together and start from the beginning, don't cheat and put the toothpaste on first.
That's a great exercise, yes.
And or cooking or eating or whatever.
Yeah.
So the next day they came back, and you should have heard some of the stories. It was hilarious. Yeah, we all sat down to eat, and we had food everywhere, all over our faces, all over the table. It was really cool. But,
that's a great exercise.
And we put her 6th grade classes through this, and after that they appreciated, and they weren't afraid to be around somebody that has a disability. That's not with just being blind. It's disabilities, period.
Right.
Yeah.
Kids their peers don't know how to interact with them because they don't know.
Right.
And sometimes it's like, oh, am I going to get that if I hang out with her or him?
Right.
And
Is this
so-
contagious? Or,
Yeah. Yeah, is it contagious?
What are some of the craziest questions you get that you have to answer and you can't laugh at them? But what are some of those questions?
I guess probably like just people are not aware of like how to interact with a blind person.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my craziest one would probably be like, well, how do you eat? Or how do you like cut up your food? Or how do you, do those kind of things? And I just tell them, like I have to fill it on my plate to see what's there. And then if it's, too big, then I have to, take my knife and cut it.
Well, we treat the plate like a clock.
Yeah, like a clock, yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so you even to that point, you put the things, you put the food down. So, okay, well, we're going to talk about that because food's my most favorite subject matter, Amber. And so when we come back, we're going to talk about some of the just everyday practice in life and then what happens. Right. So we'll be back on the Cindy Cochran Show, Real Reality Radio.
The Cindy Cochran Show, Real Reality Radio.
Want to check out the fastest growing sport in the world? It's right here in Conroe, Texas, and it's roller derby. Conroe Roller Derby is a nonprofit recreational league of women and men who want you to come and check out the fast-paced, hard-hitting game of roller derby. The Conroe Cutthroats practice at Rainbow Roller Rink on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. You can find our game schedule and more information on our website, www.conroerollerderby.com.
The Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service has been dedicated to educating Texans for over a century. In 1915, the Extension Program was established under the federal Smith-Lever Act to deliver university knowledge and agricultural research findings directly to the people. Ever since, AgriLife Extension programs have addressed the emerging issues of the day, serving diverse populations across the state. Texans turn to Extension for solutions in horticulture, agriculture, 4-H and youth, and family and consumer sciences. Extension agents respond not only with answers, but also with resources and services that result in significant returns on investment to boost the economy. Join us Fridays at 1 o'clock for the AgriLife Extension Hour.
The Cindy Cochran Show, the first daily talk show serving Montgomery County.
Good morning, everybody. We're back. We are back. Yes, the Cindy Cochran Show. And we have got very special guest, Deanie Harmon and her daughter, Amber. Amber, who happens to be blind and is extremely well adjusted, everybody. She's okay. She doesn't feel sorry for herself. She's fine. And all those things that people project onto you.
Exactly.
When you've lived with something that is a disability that keeps you from doing that, this or that, the deaf would say, you got to understand about us. I've never heard anything in my life. So it's okay. And I'm not sad about it. I don't think about it. I don't dwell on that or anything like that. He says, have you ever been to the moon, Cindy? And I went, no. Okay. Well, do you feel bad about it? Are you sad about it? Do you feel, you've never been there. So there's nothing that you're, wanting from that. And so I said, okay, I'll remember that. But I love that someone like Amber come along and say, look, here's the deal. Here's what's going on. And I want you to understand I can do a lot of the things that you guys do. And there may be some things that I can't do, but there's some things that you can't do that I do. So just, it all balances out. And Braille was always fascinating to me. Fascinated me how they would be able to read that as fast as they could read it and all that. That was great.
Yeah, technology has really come a long way for the blind and visually impaired.
A long way.
Yeah, because you can voice text, and then you can get text that's that you can hear what's going on, what they're going to send you. So there's so much that is on the computer and all the things that you can do. So it's opened up a lot of the world to
absolutely.
people with disabilities.
Her lifeline is her computer, and everything that she does is through computer. All of her friends communicate through computer.
Yeah.
And the blind community, it's amazing what they can do. I can remember Christmas time when she was a little girl was a nightmare because going into Toys R Us, or they didn't have toys that for the blind or visually impaired. So I had to look at the different toys and adapt it
to see how it would work.
See, like games, I had to braille. They do have a Monopoly brailled.
Do they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a great game.
It was so everything we had to buy, I had to adapt it for her. But yeah, getting back to, she's not any different than any other kid.
No,
she was a good kid though. She didn't want to come to us and complain about driving all the time. She didn't want to, of course. But now she's saying, they've got those little smart cars that's coming out that you don't have to have a driver. That'd be really cool, Mom.
Yeah, Mom, start saving up from 10 years ago, and we'll get one of those.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. That is true, but the cars, I didn't think about that part. That's great. Now, let me ask you something. This is something that probably I would only ask you, but feeling your food and finding out what I need to probably cut up with my knife and all that. I'm going to take that to feeling someone's face, because in the movies and all that they'd put their hands on their face and go over their facial, and be able to tell a lot about that person. Is that true?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Because you're feeling the person's face, and especially like with facial expressions, you can tell if they're happy or sad or what they're feeling.
So while they're feeling your face and they're smiling and all that, they go like, okay, this is good. Or the person is looking like, oh, I hope she doesn't feel that. Oh no, I didn't shave right.
I'll never forget when I introduced her to my husband, which is not her dad, but she felt his face and she was just feeling all around. She was probably 20-something years old. And she goes, "Oh, you're so handsome."
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And up to that point, I was getting ready to let her feel my face, but if she's going to say something like that, I don't want her to say, "Well, are you fat? You need to lose some weight, and this would be great for you to start using this kind of product on your face." But no, I'm sure you're very kind to everybody that says, "Okay."
If they let me, if they're comfortable with that, like I'm not usually one to like just go up and touch somebody's face. I usually like to say, "May I feel your face?" or just something like that. So
you do, okay. Yeah. And then I guess so. That's interesting. I didn't know that you would ask them, or you were waiting for them to say, "Here, they take your hands and put their hands on your face and say, what do you think?"
She should really consider being a bodybuilding judge. That's what she should do.
I wish you'd have been here with these firefighters yesterday.
Yeah. Can I do that? Can I be blind?
Yes.
Sure, Mom, we'll blindfold you.
Yeah.
Well, as she was growing up, the school district had a gentleman come in and he was blind, and he was totally blind, I believe, and he gave a talk to the parents about having children that had this disability, and he said that the main thing that he remembers and appreciates the most is that his parents never stopped him from doing and allowing him do whatever he could learn. Well, this gentleman grew up to be own a sailboat company out of Kemah and gave sailing lessons. And so this gentleman, I thought, this is fascinating.
Wow.
And him saying, my parents allowed me to try everything. Mm-hmm. And that's what we did with her.
Yeah. They never stopped me from anything that I wanted to try to do or anything like that. Even if they had to adapt, anything, that they never stopped me from that.
She came to us. She loves animals.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm a huge animal lover.
Yeah, she was in FFA in school, and she goes, well, I want to raise rabbits. I said, okay, that's good. So she did, and she did very well at that. Next year she goes, well, I want to raise a lamb. Well, if anyone knows about showing lambs and talking about the bodybuilding, that's part of it, is being able to feel the lambs. And lambs are very hard to show.
Yes.
So she did 2 years of that, and the kids would come up to her and say, could you feel my lamb and tell me what I need to do? Do I need to give it more water? Do I need to exercise it more? Do I need to adjust its food? I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah.
And all she would do is she would feel that lamb and be able to tell, okay, well, you need to run him more, or you need to work. You need to work on the hind legs, or
That's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid for you to. I may just shake your hand. That's all I'm going to do, Amber, because I'm afraid you're like, you know what, Cindy, you need to run a little more. You need to exercise more, and those left lamb hams are you? No, okay, no, I promise that I know you are so sweet and so kind, and you would never, ever make somebody feel bad. But, people would be very interested in that, because having, an animal that they don't know anything about, they don't know anything, just by touching the animal is okay. But to be able to find out if it's dehydrated by the way you touch it, or find out that it needs more of this or that, that's amazing. I mean, that really is an amazing story. I didn't ever hear of anything like that.
Well, going and showing lambs, you have to go into a show ring with a judge and other students. And I didn't want, as a parent, it's a big competition.
Yes.
So as a parent, I didn't want anyone else to know that she was blind. So we'd send her in the ring by herself. Well, what people didn't know is on her hearing aids is an FM system, and I could communicate with her through this FM system and talk to her in her ears.
Oh, man.
She couldn't talk back to me, so I had to give her directions as far where the judge was telling them to go. Of course, she knew how to set the lamb up and present it to the judge. And one time, I'm very bad with my right and my left, and you think that I would know better. Well, I ran her into the fence in the middle of the show ring.
Oh my gosh, I was so embarrassed.
She was so mad at me when she came off the showroom floor, and she said, I don't know what you need to do, but you need to get your right and your left situated. So I had to write on my hand an L on the left hand in the palm and an R on the right. So when she got in the show ring, but no one knew that she was blind.
Oh, that is awesome.
Because, you don't want, if she won something.
You want that distraction.
You didn't want the other parents going, oh, well, she won because she's blind.
Because I'm blind,
because that would definitely happen.
I didn't.
But
I didn't want that either.
We wanted her to win on her showmanship and not just to win, but just to be able to show properly, just like the other kids do.
Mm-hmm.
And she did very well.
Now, is there organization? You were talking about a lot of your blind friends that you would communicate with over the computer and all that. Is there things that events and stuff that you go to where it is all the visually impaired go?
They do have blind events through an organization called National Federation for the Blind, and they hold national events. And yes, there's all blind people there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Have you attended?
I haven't attended, but I've heard about it, and I wanted to attend. I just haven't got around to it yet.
But are you regularly communicating
Yes.
with other blind people over the computer,
Oh, yes.
texting and all that stuff. Y'all are doing all that.
Yeah.
I love that. Now, what about, the movies they have that are for the blind that they, I called MGM one time. I had no fear. So I called MGM. I want to talk to the person who is in development or
Right.
and I asked them, do they have an organization that is helping them being able to have movies for the blind?
Descriptive.
And they said, well, this was in the 70s when I did this, and they had just come out late in the 70s with Line 21 on TV for the deaf to be able to see things. So that was late. That was really late. I was so amazed that they didn't figure that out before, but they found a line that they could dedicate to that in the screening. So anyway, and they said, well, what do you mean? I said, where you have someone that's telling what's going on the screen, so that they know what's going on, and then when they hear they understand what's happening. And I said, we'll have to take that under advisement. I never heard back from them. But
I'll tell you a good story on that one.
It's good.
Oh, may I interject?
Yes, hang on. We're going to tease them with what you're getting ready to say, Amber. We don't know what she's going to say, but she's going to say something brilliant, I'm sure. You're listening to the Cindy Cochran Show, Real Reality Radio. We'll be right back.
The Cindy Cochran Show. You ain't heard nothing yet.
An estimated 1 in 10 births will result in a neonatal intensive care stay, also known as the NICU. Overnight, a family can find themselves and their newborn baby in a critical situation. The Mila Foundation financially and spiritually assists families in need. If you would like to volunteer or become a monthly sponsor, please visit us at www.themilafoundation.org. Again, that's www.themilafoundation.org, because every life matters.
Listen in on Mondays at noon to hear the East Montgomery County News. News from our Precinct 4 Commissioner Jim Clark, Precinct 4 Constable Rowdy Hayden, our local nonprofits, school districts, and events that matter to you, residents of Porter, New Caney, and Splendora. With your host, Margie Taylor of Taylorized PR. For more information, check us out online at facebook.com/EMC News.
Did you know there are more than 790 abused and neglected children currently in foster care in Montgomery County? Will you help make a difference? I'm Allie Stevens with Casa Child Advocates of Montgomery County. We train and support volunteers to be the voice of children in the foster care system. Kids removed from their home because of abuse and neglect. And we need volunteers just like you to advocate for these children. To learn more about becoming an advocate, please visit CasaSpeaksForKids.com. That's CasaSpeaksForKids.com.
The Cindy Cochran Show, the most opinionated talk show on radio.
We're back on the Cindy Cochran Show. Thank you so much for listening. We're in our final segment. And if you had missed any of this program today, you better search out YouTube on the Cindy Cochran Show. And the December 1st, the first day of December, listen to what Amber and Deanie Harmon have to talk about. We have Deanie Harmon, who we know and we love, and she's the mother of Amber, who happens to be blind, and to talk about their, relationship, her growing up, and what they did, how they helped her, and it's been amazing. So we've talked about that, and you may want to hear all of that if you missed some of it at all. So go to YouTube or go to my Facebook page, find out when that comes up. I'll try and get that up within 48 hours. But how fascinating this has been. And now we've moved to the entertainment, like what she does for entertainment. And we've talked about the movies, and they have movies for the blind where they set up a scene. And what did you say they called it?
Well, it's descriptive
video.
Back. This has probably been 15 years ago. There was a lady in Hollywood that brought descriptive video to Houston, and she invited President Bush and Barbara Bush, and she also invited the blind community to a theater, and we watched the Titanic. Mm-hmm. Now, the people in there were all blind, and then their escorts. Of course, I went with Amber. And, you know, the Titanic is such an amazing movie.
Right.
And it was very descriptive. Whoever did the description on it was fascinating. And you listened to it with headsets on. And the scenes that get really emotional, it was so good. The people that were actually totally blind, that could not see the screen, were crying through some of the parts. That's how good it was.
Yeah.
Oh.
There was a woman sitting on the other side of Amber in the theater with her son, and she couldn't see a thing. And she was just boo-hooing. The whole theater was crying.
Yep.
So
That's
that
amazing.
just told you what a great job they did, and with descriptive video. Now, I think there's just one theater in Houston that's dedicated for blind or visually impaired people to go in, and they want to see a movie.
Well, that's a
Very
shame.
descriptive, yeah.
That's a shame. And it is an art form, and that to be able to do that.
Absolutely.
And you think that they ought to be up for some kind of category in the Academy Awards, because it is an emotional thing. They have to bring that emotion to it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, once we talk about this, are going to have a lot of questions in their head. And what do you like about the descriptive video, Amber? What does it bring to you?
Well, for the very visual parts of the movies, it tells me what's going on, and just the emotions of it. I can just understand the movie better.
Do they tell you that underneath the dialogue that's going on is that, someone says, "Oh, Beulah, I love you," and then underneath it says, Beulah turns and looks at him, and are they? Is that how they're doing it? Okay.
Well, yeah, and they also if there's stuff that's say if it's a really quiet part and people are not talking, that's when they usually bring in the descriptive. And then if there's also a lot of writing on the screen that's that people are not saying, then that's when they also do the descriptions.
Okay, so it's used to supplement dialogue and to bring it to full fruition in their head of what's going on. That is awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I love that. I'm gonna have to Google that and see if they have some of that on.
They have it online. They have a lot of descriptive movies online now. So
so do I just look up Google descriptive movies or descriptive?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. Amber, I want to tell you something. You've been amazing. Great guest. Will you come back sometime?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Thanks for having me on the show.
No, my pleasure.
There's so many stories we could tell.
That's what I mean.
So hilarious that.
That's what we got to do. We'll get those together and we'll do. Okay, now here's being blind and finding the fun in it. Okay,
absolutely.
Thank you, Deanie, so much for bringing her, and thank
Cindy.
you for your parenthood. It's just so great. And Amber, we'll see you again. Listen, guys, tomorrow we're going to talk about all the fun things that are going on down here in the square here in Conroe. And you that are listening from LA, listen in, and maybe y'all can do this in your town as well. But we're going to have a good time this weekend here in Conroe. So be sure and be here tomorrow and listen to Joey Sheaf and let's talk about different things that are going on downtown. You're listening to the Cindy Cochran Show, Real Reality Radio.
Thanks for checking out this production on Lone Star Community Radio, Montgomery County's radio station. For more information on this show and other shows on Lone Star, check us out online at irlonestar.com. If you're interested in sponsoring a program on Lone Star Community Radio and reaching the local audience of Montgomery County on FM, internet, and TV media, please call 936-647-5747 or contact us online at irlonestar.com. This recording is a Lone Star Community Radio production, produced by the show host and Dick Schissler of Lone Star Community Radio. Interested in volunteering as a music DJ or starting your own talk show? Contact Dick Schissler at dick@irlonestar.com or by phone at 936-647-5747.